Welcome to round 2, From Setback to Comeback. I'm Jaclyn Siu, founder of Star Cycle. We help founders shut down their companies. We make the difficult parts of wind up easier so that you can get back to doing what you love faster. As a third-time founder, I know firsthand that the entrepreneurial journey is anything but smooth. There are highs that inspire us, but lows that challenge us are the ones that stick with us for longer. And round 2 is all about the pivotal moments with founders, innovators, and visionaries who have faced setbacks head-on and found their way to a smarter, stronger comeback. And today, I'm excited to be joined by Izayah Powell, founder and COO of VidCade, building a social game where the objective is to find out who the funniest friend is in your friend group. It's me, by the way. Growing up with a single immigrant mother in New York City, Zay went from running fashion events on his college campus to being one of the reasons why the NCAA started allowing student athletes to get compensated and sign sponsorship agreements. And now he's a tech founder who's backed by the who's who of Silicon Valley. You're not going to find a more riveting story of metamorphosis around here, which is honestly really fitting for the Year of the Snake. So grab your coffee, put on your hoodie, and join me for another inspiring story of reinvention. Welcome, Zay.
Thank you for having me. Just hearing that intro, it's like wow. Also,
that is your story.
Yeah, your company is both scary but amazing because it's so needed, and I think you do a great job making that process an easier process. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's pretty cool.
I really appreciate that. And, given the trajectory you're having, I'm sure we'll never hear from you, but we'll hear from all of your competitors.
I hope we're never in that Zoom meeting.
Oh, yeah. No, never. I would love for us to hang out more in general,
Absolutely.
But not for that.
No.
But to dial it back a bit, because we're really here to talk about you, not to talk about me and what we're doing. But let's start with your story, right? Like, who is Zay as a founder, as an athlete, all of those things? Tell us a bit about your journey and how you got here.
Yeah, no, of course. So like you said, just, growing up in New York, I found that there were many aspects of Zay. So, being this, Black kid in the Bronx, just playing sports, having these different sides of me, just kind of navigating, what I like fashion, sports.
I can tell. With the drip, I'm like, crap.
I just kind of always wanted to learn. And so, when I was younger, found myself going down to, Harlem. And at that point, like the ASAP mob was like a growing thing. And I used to just hang out around those groups and just kind of see what they were doing. And at that point, I'm like, it seems that anything is really possible. People say that, and you don't really fully come to understand that until you start doing things. And I think from that moment on, I started just doing as much as I possibly can. So I started trying to figure out how to create clothes, trying to figure out how to, get better as an athlete, and then also focus on school. And so all those things led me to be very, I would say, focused in academia and athletics, because I saw those things as, if I can excel as a scholar, it would give me a good platform to be able to do fashion, to be able to do anything that I would want to do. And so that's what happened. From football, that kind of stuff, went to high school in White Plains. There, captain of the football team, had some fashion things going on where I was selling like thrift clothes and then selling at school, if that made sense. So I go thrifting.
You were Depop before Depop was Depop.
Essentially, like you thrift and you sell them at school, and you talk about it, all that kind of stuff. And so I was doing that. I became captain of the football team, and at that point, it was very much just like, I'm going to play football in high school, and this is going to be cool. And I had no idea what in an Ivy League really was, or if that was where I could go. And in one summer, I went to a couple camps, and I got offers from Yale, Brown, UPenn, Cornell, all in one summer. And I was like, wow.
I hope my parents aren't listening.
And so that kind of, each step of the way, that kid that saw anything can be possible, and that kid that was like, I'm going to put, my academics first and athletics, and that's going to paved the way for whatever I want to do. And then the strong support of a hardworking mother, worked two jobs, but still found the time to just support my creativity and just support understanding, learning sports. I also have a wonderful stepfather as well that came into my life that also kind of helped that sports route. And so, yeah, so, you know, when I got to Brown's campus, like, it was just like, okay, now this is even more possible. And I feel like those spaces offer just more resources and, you know, options to do that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what led to, like you said, the fashion events company, and then kind of opened the doors to being a founder.
Wow.
It's kind of like the start of it.
Wow, I love that so much. I think, you know, the fashion world mourns what could have been ASAP Zay, but I think the world is better for it at this point in time. No disrespect to the ASAP mob, but, you know, it's great to have you here. And honestly, I resonate so heavily with the, you know, just seeing what is possible. And I think, you know, not to go on a tangent on this, but that's why representation, access to opportunity is so important. And also just the, you know, idea of having agency, right? And believing that you have agency, because you really can just do things. Yeah. And it's not just people saying that on Twitter, which they do, but like it really is a thing, right? Yeah. Like you can actually just do things, and clearly you have willed your life into existence. And I love that so much.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like that, you see it everywhere on posters, you know, kindergarten, you're there and you see the hang in there poster with the cat, and you see you miss 99% of the shots you'd never take. All those posters, like, so there's so much rhetoric around it. And you're like, what does that really mean? And you like, when you start doing, you're like, oh, okay. Like, I understand what they're saying. Like, you have to just start doing. And from that, you'll have, the opportunities will be there, whatever it might be. Yeah.
Yeah. So you started doing by, you know, just founding your first company when you were, I guess, in high school, selling vintage clothes, but like it's, you know, the official definition we have is your first company was when you were on campus at Brown and you started like a fashion and events company. Yeah. And that was like the gateway to everything you've been working on since. And so, yeah, would love to hear about that. What were some of the hardest things you had to learn? Because it's so easy to say, yeah, my first company went great and all of these things happened, but what were some of the harder things that you had to find out that way?
Margins.
Oh.
Like,
what are those?
What are
those?
You know, you're a sophomore and you're like, here's how it's gonna look. We're gonna do this. You know, me and two of my, you know, one of my best friends, international students, we all shared this love for fashion, and we wanted to create clothes. That's kind of how it started. And I'm like, let's do it. And now you put that idea and that passion into practice. And then so we did that, and we're like, okay, it's fine. Okay, money. Okay, money is a thing. How do we get money? And we're thinking to ourselves, okay, we don't have a lot of money. And so now we have to figure out how we can put together something to present and pitch that will get us some FNN, some family, friends funding, something like that. And so that was, I think, hard, because you realize creating clothes and saying, hey, we're going to create clothes and they're going to be cool, everyone's going to love them. It just doesn't make any sense. And so that was the first thing. And so we put together this plan, like, what it's going to be. Like, we're going to make, you know, minimalistic clothes that are we're going to target this Ivy League population of students and basically allow them to express themselves. And so that's why we're doing minimalistic clothes. We came together, it's called Nuvon. And we basically, it's a word we created that means cloud. We put together all of this like cheesy rhetoric about like, you look
brand
up in
manifesto.
You look up in the sky and a cloud is something to you, but something to another person. And I guess we didn't even realize like how important the storytelling was, because that kind of came together into a deck. We had who we were targeting, how we were going to do it, how we were going to sell it. And so that was, you know, hard. And then we had to figure out, you know, how to source those clothes. And so I went to New York and I'm like, okay, let's go back to the roots. I know where Fashion Ave is, 7th Ave. Let's go down there and I can find some manufacturers and try to convince them to do
like
a small run, which is like impossible. Like, they're like, you're going to have to do 2,000 units. And we're like, and so I came together with a deal with him and said, hey, like, what if we did like a large sample order? And, we can figure this out, all that kind of stuff.
I feel like it's a canon event, right? Like you go from, oh, we're going to do this thing. And then reality hits you in the face and you're like, oh, this thing is happening. And that's a tough lesson for a lot of people to navigate that, especially for creatives who are like, I live for the art, not for the business of the art.
Yeah. And I think coming to realization of that was when we were like, oh, just close. And, one of the founders, Jonas, was like, we can't just do clothes. Like, it's just that's not sustainable unless we figure out something crazy. And we everything is connected to something, Supreme is the skateboarding lifestyle. You have all these brands that are connected to something, and they have this meaning that like that's what propels the actual like scarcity of the clothes when they come out and people trying to get
because
them.
People want that.
They want
themselves.
They want that lifestyle. Kind of stuff. So okay, let's do that. So if we can do that, we can sell clothes. And so we started to do events around our clothes, and we were like, okay, because we're letting everybody express themselves, everyone should be able to join the party. So what we did was we went out on campus and we were like, let's get the whole campus to come to this party. And so we rented out one of the clubs. We got some money as well. The pitch worked. So we got some money. We rented out a club. And we said, we need everyone to come to this party as this is what the brand's about. And so what we did was we set up in the common area, and at Brown, they have this cafe area called the Blue Room. And you can get sandwiches there. Kids come there all the time because, kids are addicted to coffee. I never understood, but it's Gatorade and water. And they'd come by and they'd be there and we'd stop them and be very aggressive in our sales. And we're having a party, X, Y, and Z, and you pay for it. And we said, hey, you buy a ticket early. What we're going to do is, if you buy a ticket early, you'll get a link to a Spotify link that will allow you to add a song to a playlist. And so at that point, that didn't quite exist fully yet. And so what we did was we had an Excel sheet where people were adding songs.
And then you just manually put in that.
And so everyone was like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, your vibe's going to be there. That was the whole pitch.
Oh.
And so we had, international students. We had like the Black kind of side of campus. We had like, everybody all kind of coming and like, oh, well, I can add this Portuguese song, I can add this, I can add it. And so that was really exciting for them. And we just put those songs together. We got, we kind of put together a playlist that made sense. And all those people came to the party and we ended up making our money back and then some.
Wow.
In that one event. I'm like, okay, this is the way to go.
I love that. It's like being a, consumer founder has always been in your DNA. You're like, what makes people tick. I think that's so cool. Like it's not an easy nut to crack. It really isn't. And like that's really awesome that you were able to learn that in a campus setting, but also, I mean, I've never even thought about that. I'm kind of jealous. I might steal that for my next party.
No, you absolutely. I mean,
I'm not building in consumer anytime soon, but I might steal that for my next birthday party.
Watch Particle is gonna implement this soon if they haven't already.
Wow.
It's just let people add little things.
Let people DJ the party, so they will come.
Yeah, because music is a very big thing for people when they come to these type of events. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit, talk about NCAA, because that, is David versus Goliath. Like truly, like you just took these guys on and looked them in the eyes and said, we as athletes deserve to be compensated, deserve to be paid for the blood, sweat, and tears you guys are literally putting in. It, as someone who admittedly doesn't watch sports all the time, it is something that never made sense to me. And when I first heard that you're like one of the first people who made that possible for most likely generations of athletes after you to take parts in the rewards of what they clearly contribute to, that is incredible. And that must have been also an incredibly hard battle to fight. And so, yeah, wanted to hear a little bit more about that. Maybe.
Absolutely. It was interesting time. So I guess we can start from the beginning.
Mhm.
I played football at Brown, and we're talking like Ivy League football here. We're not talking like, you know, SEC. Like, we're not talking these big, Alabama. So, it's the Division One
Don't
Double
downplay
A.
yourself.
No, of course, but Division One Double A. But I love football. I love the team. I love the guys that I met, and so I was our starting safety, loving it. And like I said before, academia, athletics, very important to me.
Mhm.
These set the way, and so I was a starting safety. I'm like, this is really important to me, all that kind of stuff. And so on the side, I had an opportunity over the summer where my friends like, hey, like I'm connected with these model agencies and agents, and we have opportunities. You should check it out. I'm like, sick, cool. And so she connects me. I meet an agent, and she's like, I think your story, I think you think this would be good. So let's go to a couple like casting events and let's just see what happens. I'm like, yeah, it sounds awesome.
Mhm.
And so we do that. And so I get casted for it's a Find Your Fit campaign for Bonobos.
Mhm.
And I'd never heard of them, but they're an amazing menswear company. They're very digital first. That's kind of what they kind of like pride themselves on. And so, and their clothes are just phenomenal. And so I did a campaign for them, and the campaign consisted of like digital images, an interview where they spoke about like my life and just, travel, all that kind of stuff. At that point, I had gone for the first time. I was a sophomore, and I'd gone to like London and in Ibiza, and had those experiences with my friends, and I would just turn that into a story. So I did a campaign in which we shot photos. It was in a booklet that went out to all the subscribed members, and that this think summer catalog of clothes, and then my story on their website, and then it was everywhere. And so that goes out, and it did really well.
Yeah.
And then after that, I actually got an opportunity to shoot for Nike, and shoot for it was like a TED Talk type of situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And so my agent was like, yeah, this is exciting. This is great. And all of that was off of just the bonobos thing.
Sure.
In which I didn't mention football at all. So that happens. I come to the season is starting to get underway. And then I basically get a notice. A notice gets sent to my coach. And the notice basically is from the NCAA, and they explain that I've broken protocol, I've broken the rules. So you're allowed to, do at that point, like internships and whatnot, because what you're not allowed to do is use your likeness as a football player for whatever school. You're not allowed to use that as means to make money and to build yourself when you're the one putting your body in the line. You're the one doing all these things. And so they found somehow, I don't know how it happened, but they found out about what happened. That, he must have used his Brown football likeness to get this. And so I was immediately suspended. And my coach was, he was livid, but I really appreciate him seeing a kid who's just like bright-eyed, wants to do a lot, and really doesn't like. I practice all the time. I'm early for like. I really wasn't trying to do this, and so he asked me, he's like, what happened? You know this.
Yeah.
We have these protocol sessions before we start seasons. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't use Brown likeness, and so he goes, you know what? Like, I believe you, and I'm gonna help you fight this. And so, like anything, you're allowed to appeal and kind of go forth and do process in which you represent yourself. And so I had to learn, and I had to just read up on, like, actually open up the books that they give you, and not books, but they give you, like, here's the NCAA, like as an athlete, this is what you're signing off on. And so I had to go read that, understand exactly what the verbiage is around this. And then my coach and I represented myself. And so, I was suspended, and, they weren't going to overturn it. And essentially I had to write, my first kind of response and statement that I would be fighting this. I'm not going to sit out a season. I did nothing wrong. They also took my money as well.
No.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
I got, I learned that just for standing and looking in the camera and just posing, they give you a pretty coin for that, for like a day of work. And so I was excited about that because that was going to be what, fed me for the semester, my friends going out, all kind of stuff. Yeah. And so we built a case and we were basically, we said that one, the rules state here that it's using your likeness as a football player. And I have proof that along this whole journey, I was Izayah Powell. Izayah Powell. I wasn't Izayah Powell number 3, safety, all that kind of stuff. And so I had to prove extensively that was the case. So after I made my response, I had to go and get proof, which meant I had to go and bother the casting director for Bonobos. I had to bother my agent, who also was reached out to from the NCAA on what was going on, and it was embarrassing a little bit because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So that happens, and they all helped me out. And we were able to really prove that I did this off the strength of me. And not only should I be able to play football, the sport that I love, but I should also be able to keep the money that I'm trying to earn for myself, as I'm not getting paid for what I'm doing. And as a student, it's hard, and I can't work a campus job. I have to figure out a way that I'm going to feed myself and do other things like that, buy books, all that kind of stuff. And this is a perfect opportunity. I'm being savvy. And so that was the case we went with. And after some back and forth, I got it overturned.
Wow. And
it was a whole kind of big thing because I thought that this is, like you said, Goliath here. I'm like, they're just going to be like, you know what?
Go away.
We'll deal with this after the season is over.
Yeah.
And we actually got it overturned before the season started. I was able to play. I was able to get my money back. The downside of this is that I got blacklisted a little bit because so the Nike deal, they were kind of like, there are a lot of people in the world, and
you didn't want to deal with.
If you're coming on with a lot of baggage, and we know how the NCAA can be, and we didn't even know you were an athlete, we don't even want to, unfortunately, it's just a lot to deal with here, and so we're gonna pass. And my agent was like, yeah, that's gonna happen. It's a momentum thing. Like anything, you're building a product, and
momentum begets momentum.
Yeah,
and the other way around as
right.
well.
If you're seeding a product, it's very important to get that attention and get your users to do your core action as fast as possible and have those flywheels as fast as possible.
Yeah.
In a 10-hour time period, whatever, like a very short time period.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I fought it. I'm happy I did that because I think that, I know that set precedent for
absolutely
what was to come.
Yes.
And the next year, NIL comes into play. Because not only is there an opportunity for athletes, but it just allows the ecosystem. This is the next proper step for the ecosystem of student athletes. It's the next step. And I'm happy to see it. My brother is an athlete now, so I'm happy he gets to reap in that. Do I wish it was the case then? Yeah, but it's okay. I'm happy that we were able to kind of set that pace forward for all these athletes.
Wow. I mean, thank you for sharing. And honestly, it always takes the first domino to fall, right? And I think there's a special privilege almost in being that first domino, but it is a hard burden. And without getting all social meta commentary all up in here, I wish we had more first dominoes who are willing to do a lot of those things. And there are a lot of these people, but you can take nothing for granted, right? Everything that we have is because someone willed it into existence. All of the students, athletes who can do this now is because you helped will it into existence for them. And I think, if I may hear your flowers, wow, this is, incredible, truly.
Thank you. But I mean, this is just a kid who is just like, I'm going to do this thing. Oh, I got in trouble. Oh, okay. Well, can I not be in trouble? How can we do that?
Right. That is such an incredible journey. And obviously that brought them into your corner. Momentum begets momentum, as you said. And now you're working on VidCade.
Yeah.
And, looking at all the lessons you've learned as this, bright-eyed kid trying to find his way
Right.
to being a student athlete to now doing all of this, like how has all of that shaped your relationship with these difficult moments?
I think it just makes you stronger.
Yeah.
I think you going back to that comment I made about that little kid, each experience and moment that you go through that we've kind of covered makes you stronger, and kind of it backs your corner. You're like, okay, in this next scary environment that I'm going to get into, I'm going to take these lessons that I've learned, and I'm also going not only apply them, but I'm also going to know that like I've gotten out of scarier situations or scary situations in general, and I can continue to do so, and just continue to. I think that is how I can then back myself to continue to go do those, because they keep happening, situations, failure, and it's something that's just not going to go away. And so
if you're not failing, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. And so you should embrace it.
Yeah.
And go into each situation with, I'm going to learn something from this. I'm going to embrace the fact that I'm learning something from this. And that's why, like, when it comes to those failures, whether it's social or, having to do with VidCade or anything like that, it's, I need to make sure that we're running conclusive tests, because something scarier than even just failure is failure without any type of lessons learned or data to pull from it. When something was like, well, it didn't work out, and we have no idea even why it didn't work out or what happened.
You can't learn if you don't know.
You can't learn if you don't know. And so you're just like, wow, we wasted time and there's nothing here. And it's like that's pretty scary in itself. So embracing the fact that failure is going to happen, and embracing the fact that you're going to learn something, as long as you fail correctly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because you can fail and have, nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
That to me is failure.
Yeah.
Right? If you find your way to get back up, you find a way to learn something, whatever form that looks like, I think that is the first step to making it possible.
Yeah. And and you mentioned before about the most important thing I think is a team. Like you said, people in your corner. And I have an amazing team. And my co-founder Victor, he's our CEO. He's an amazing leader for us. And like going into that time when we were raising, like just jumping into those situations with those guys, like, both of us are super like nervous and scared, but we're going to back ourselves. And it just ends up working out because it's something you can really respect.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those guys, they founded companies like Twitter, they founded companies like Pinterest, and so they're scary guys at first, but they're founders true and true. And so they just love, these kids want to learn. And these kids
they remember that they were that kid.
They remember that, and they also just want, they like if you want to learn, and they like that you've done your homework and your research and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you've come correct. And so, I mean, a team is just a very, very, it's the pillar. It's the most important thing.
I think coming correct and also curious is an insanely underrated superpower.
Yeah.
Like, you come correct, but you're also open to being corrected.
Yeah.
Without being defensive. I think that is key.
Yeah.
And it's a hard lesson for a lot of founders to learn, right? Because it's, what has gotten you this far in your career and, as a student, whatever, is almost being dogmatic about your belief in yourself.
Yeah.
And that can be a double-edged sword if you're like, hey, if you're willing to die on this hill, you'd better make sure it's a worthy hill to die on. Otherwise, you're making your own life harder.
Yeah.
I think that's a hard lesson for everyone. At the moment of recording, right? Like, you're in the middle of a race. By the time this episode comes out, I'm hoping it will be a celebratory moment. It will be. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And since we talk so much about things that you've learned, things, moments, like difficult moments that have put yourself, the way how did you phrase it? Like, you back yourself.
Yeah. Back yourself.
How do you see that for your next chapter of VidCade, of your journey as a founder? Like, who is Zay going to be?
Yeah. So first we'll talk about VidCade.
Yes. Please. Not that I need any social validation to let people know I'm funny, but
No,
A lot of people do.
yeah,
So
listen,
that's why
I
we
think
have
they're hilarious. Yeah, well, what we built is a social video platform that turns friend groups into, comedy competitions.
Mhm.
And so we have an AI model that spits out prompts that these kids can create videos to um, every single day. And essentially, our algorithm will pick who the funniest of that friend group is.
Mhm.
And so, that's kind of what we built. And so what's happening is we really wanted to dive into this intentional engagement between friend groups.
Mhm.
Right now, we're at a point where at one point you're on MySpace, you're building a profile for yourself and you're inviting people to come see what you built online because online is this new thing. And then we go from there into this like entertainment scrolling. You have Vine, you have TikTok, you have all these. I want to be entertained online and I want to share that entertainment with my friends because the social currency I'm looking for is the fact that I am funny by sending you these videos.
I'm the curator of the
I'm
group.
the curator. And now I can be a creator as well.
Yes.
And so that whole creator economy, all that kind of stuff. And then now we're at a point where, online connections are kind of in a little bit of a doom scroll kind of situations, especially for like high school kids and college kids where, you're doing that. But now I'm looking for another way, not to find friends, back in,
But to stay
but
connected.
to stay engaged with my friends, my friend groups. How can I find new fun ways in which I can do that? And so that's what we did. And we built a platform for them to, have this daily competition where only your friends that you add to your friend group can see your videos. And so it's not like this whole big thing, but each video as you add someone to your friend group, only they can see it. And so it's an intentional type of situation there. Competition in which you're like, okay, like this is friendly, but also like because it's humor based, you're seeing these little videos and the prompts that come out offer you a chance to share memories, tell stories, that you can just share with your friends. For now you have reason to. It's prompt. And then the third thing is it's a cash prize as well for the funniest friend. I think that's
maybe
big.
That's how I raise my next round.
Yeah, hey, it's an opportunity for you.
Listen, I hope my friends are listening.
Yeah. So the I think it's a very retentive thing because they come into our product so far, what we've seen, and trying to find this like, oh, I want to be the funniest friend, or I think I am, or they're surely not. And then they have fun with these prompts and excited about it coming out at one point in the day. They do it, and then there's a retentive side of the fact that like, oh, if you win, not only is that the social currency of like, oh, this is pretty fun. We have kids who are like taking a screenshot of like, we have like a little like a leaderboard thing that be like all the friends in your group and then the funniest friend, and they'll screenshot that and be like, this is like tangible validation that I'm funny.
Funniest one,
yeah. And then we have another leaderboard that is, everybody who's played today, and then, it descends and cash prizes are given out. And that's just like, whoa, like this is an interesting competition. This is an interesting way to engage my friends. So, and so, yeah, so with that, I had our go-to-market, and the next chapter for Zay is, what we're seeing is a lot of like rapid growth with this product. Kids are coming in, they're playing, they're inviting their friends because it's fun when my friends are here. And so they're doing that as action. So we're seeing that happen and it's picking up in this rapid pace, and it's actually really exciting. And so I really I love discovering new behaviors. And so I want to put a dent in how we understand consumer. I want to provide more to that, right? You have people who are leading this space and who are doing an amazing job, and they're coming out with, oh, kids, younger they are in high school, they have a high K factor, they're doing this. I want to find one of those truths and present it and say, hey, actually, if you're going and you're targeting this demographic of user, this is actually an interesting behavior that I discovered that will help in your seeding or your go-to-market or what. I want to provide one of those truths. I want to present that, and not in the Twitter, way, but in like an actual, like I want to write about it and like,
Sure.
here's what we discovered when we went to market and we did this.
Mm-hmm.
We use these tactics. I won't go into them now, but we use these
Secret
tactics.
sauce, yeah.
And we got attention this way, and all that kind of stuff, and we found this. And so yeah, that's the next chapter. I really want to share. I like to share.
Yeah, the hard-earned lessons.
Yeah.
And distill them into the purest form of like what, when you do A, B happens.
Yeah, I really admire all the founders that hop on Medium or hop on any space and they're like, hey, I'm going to provide all this documentation on what the hell I did and what happened and what I saw. And like, this is crazy. You're like, whoa, like, because it's always changing. Platforms are shifting. And this is what I saw, what I did. And here, that's just, I'm like, this is amazing.
But human behavior doesn't change, right? Like the forms through which it is channeled changes.
Yep.
But the ultimate, craving of validation from your friends, from your peers, wanting to be the most attractive, the funniest, like the richest, whatever it is, like those fundamental truths don't change. And I, for one, I'm really curious and excited to see what kind of wisdom you're going to bless upon everyone else, because I am still reeling from the fact that you made sure your party was like had a line out the door because you were like, I'm going to tap into what people really, really care about. And it's their stamp on something, whatever that thing is. And you turn that into making your party the best one on campus.
Literally.
And
people still talk about it.
You're just now doing that. I am literally still talking about it. So like you're just going to do that at scale.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for you. And there are no shortcuts. No. You just gotta do the hard work. Would love to hear your thoughts on the current state of social, where you think it's going next, and of course how VidCade is leading the charge, but even just on your personal level, how you're navigating.
What I'm seeing now, and what I very much believe, is that these intentional engagement points, like I mentioned, we're at this point now where there's so many tools that I can use to be creative. However, I don't want to be creative on this huge platform, but I would love to find a way that I can engage with like the people that are in my corner, that I back, and that I can share these moments with them, right? Also, on top of that, there is a social side of finding new people in communities. And so that's what we wanted to do, was create a space in which you can have those intentional moments with your friends that doesn't blow out of proportion. There's an anonymity that I think is, for as long as social has existed, there's an anonymity that people gravitate towards, whether it's meme posting or whatever it might be. It's like that anonymity of just knowing that I can just truly be a creator and not have to worry about, being this TikTok creator or being this huge person. And so what we've seen, not only as a behavior on our platform, but also just kind of a trend that we feel that social is going to, is where I can be this creator, I can be this funniest friend, right? And we use that as a conduit, like something in humor. And it's me and my friend group. This would exist, let's just say us. We're all a friend group and I'm pretty funny. And that exists just between us. And, now with the tools that I have, creating videos, all the memories I have in my Snapchat camera of being funny, all that kind of stuff, now I have a conduit to use to share that, in which I can get rewarded by my friends socially. My friends are going to view what I'm posting on VidCade. Only they can see it. That's the anonymity. That's the intentional engagement. And then there's also a community that exists that I can take part in, that allows me to see other people make new friends online, in this passive way. That's like, okay, everyone here is on VidCade. Everyone here is taking part in this. And so I have me and my friends and what I'm doing, which is what I came here for. And then I have this background of like, oh, this is an interesting content to consume, and this is also pretty fun. And so again, like I think it's just, we're looking for ways to engage now. Like we were, like I said before, the profile side of things, meeting new people online for the first time, and that excitement, to the scroll of entertainment first now, and then the birth of the creator, which now is was a 1% to 99%, and then that changing into, well, everyone can be a creator now. But what does that look like? Yeah, anyone can go create content on TikTok, But what that looks like is anyone can do that because the tools are there, but not everyone's going to be the 1% of the creators. And so what do you do there? And so now you get into this intentional side of being like, okay, well, now you have a space in which it can just be you and your 6 friends, 5 friends doing something that is very digital, very
and true to your circle.
And true to your circle.
Yeah.
Driven by AI in the sense that like the prompts that are coming out are like an ad yours type of situation.
Yeah.
Like how they have the ad yours sticker on Instagram.
Or like it's like Cards Against Humanity, right? Like you have the prompts that are laid out in front of you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And like so taking it back to something like that, like this is where, especially after COVID, like we're looking at these intentional spaces where you're meeting and you're playing these games with your friends and and like, oh, this is really fun. And now we're taking that online and making that a private thing. So that's where we see it. That's why I think it's going. That's why I mentioned that at the AI play, I don't really know how that's going to pan out because I do think that human interaction is needed. A story that we do a lot of qualitative, sessions with our users because like if they're
that's how you learn.
If they want to talk to us. Also, I find that like when you give an 18-year-old like $100 for being funny, and you're like, hey, you want to talk about it? He's like, yeah, I want to talk about it. Talk about this. This is crazy. Like, what's going on? And so we had a girl.
If I had that when I was 18, I would be insufferable.
Like you can't tell me anything.
Yeah, literally.
And we had a prompt that came out that was the prompt was style throwback to a childhood outfit. That's what it is. So the prompts are very open-ended, which allows everyone to find their own creativity in them.
Sure.
The private side of it is good because it also allows for I don't like it doesn't have to be a trend, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I don't have to.
You're not performing it. It's literally just for your friends.
I'm going to create this, and it's just what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so this is that story because a girl, she like her video, she explains to me her video was like, her with this knitted onesie, and we were like, what is going? I asked him like, what was the story behind that? I can't know. Her friends know very much though. Her mom knits, and it like knits them clothes. Apparently, her mom's been knitting them clothes for like a long time, and so she had found one of those things, and there wasn't a space for like, hey guys, by the way, my mom, remember, like I found this. Whoa, like she could have done that in a group chat, yeah, but now there's an opportunity for her to create this clever video in which she's like trying to put it on, and she like added some sound to it, all that kind of stuff. It was quite funny, and her friends are just like dying. And she won that day, and she was just like, yeah, it was so cool because we started talking to my mom and how she doesn't knit anymore, she should knit, and I'm listening to this girl just talk to me about her mom and like all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, this is exactly what it should be. It should be these intentional moments with private moments with your friend groups that you can have online now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
A reason to do X, Y, and Z with your friends, like that kind of situation. So that was pretty cool.
I think people would probably agree that a lot of social networks have kind of failed at the social part of that, or like they have kind of distorted the meaning of that into something completely different. Like I think everyone, at least, well, maybe not everyone, but like I can certainly remember when I first signed up for Facebook, it was meant to be, that for your school, for whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's just like whatever the hell it has morphed into. Yeah, and I think people are looking to come back to that. And, I don't want us to get into too deep of a rabbit hole because I have a lot of thoughts about this, but like, just in, I think it's cool to see someone like you leading that charge of like making spaces small again.
It's cyclical.
Yeah.
Because like we said, like at that point, the profile point, the MySpace, the Facebook, like, you're like, oh, this is amazing. I can meet my friends and do this stuff. And that's what's important to me. And then rightfully so, you have these shifts into this entertainment space that happens with, Vine, it happens with TikTok, happens with what now Reels and that kind of situation where I'm now, and this is my entertainment. This is what I come online for. But the social side of it is that I'm going to share this entertainment with my friends and do all kind of stuff. And then now we're getting to the point for Web 2 where I want to go back to that time, but I don't have a problem meeting people online. I don't want to do that, right? But what I want to do is I want to have those kinds of connections and those kinds of interactions with friends, those small interactions with friends, I want to have those again. And so what does that look like? And it's like a cyclical thing that's happened now where
Also
I think
another golden
they're ready.
goose. Thank you so much, Izayah, for being here, for sharing your story, for genuinely, honestly, just making me want to hit those group chats harder, but also just not forget that at the end of the day, it really is, yes, who's in your corner, but like you backing yourself in your corner, and like any founder or anyone really who's trying to strike out on a different path, anything like that, it is vital to the journey. Like you need to be there for yourself.
Yeah.
You need to give yourself the grace to learn, to fail, to learn again.
Yeah.
And build yourself up that way, because no one's going to hand it to you. You have to will it into existence. And I think that is something that a lot of people, I'm sure, could use a reminder of or needed to hear it at this moment in time. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode, and we'll be back again soon with another great story. Hard to top this, I don't know, but we'll try.
Lots of great stories.
So hope you finish your coffee or whatever your emotional support beverage of choice was, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye.